What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with Britt, Flinn. Welcome into the Fantasy Time Game Day Live Preview. It is Week 18 of the NFL season. Britt, for many fantasy football championships were last week, but I do know we have many of you out there that run leagues till Week 18. We have many of you playing some DFS, some betting. So we're here to help you guys set your lineups, set your bets, and answer whatever questions you may have for this week. Britt, how are we doing?
I'm good. I'm pretty excited that I'll take that back. I am excited because I'm always excited on Sunday,
Right.
but I'm also just kind of in disbelief that the regular season is already over, that this is the last week. Like it feels like just yesterday we were
Yeah.
starting. So that's kind of crazy. But I am excited to see how a lot of these teams um, deal with the fact that maybe they don't have to play their starters the entire game. How are they dealing with draft positioning? Like for the Patriots and Jets, for example,
Right.
are the Patriots going to play for pride or are they going to play for draft position? Just things like that. So just because the fantasy season is over for most people does not mean that the implications end. There's
Yeah,
still a lot to talk about.
for sure. And I know the DFS is obviously a big thing here today. DFS Playbook by Howard Bender. And the watch list is already, or the dartboard rather, is already live. I know Bender is working on the example lineups. Those will be out for everybody here. And it's obviously like a very tough week to, really kind of nail down what some of these teams are. We talked a lot about the focus of who is playing for things today, as a way to sort of gauge where we're going to go with our sort of DFS roster constructions and even seasonal lineups. For those of you who are still playing, you got to figure out like who's in and who's out. What teams are going to play their guys for a little bit, then pull them. We know, for example, Nick Sirianni has supposedly reportedly mentioned that if they look up at the scoreboard and Dallas is up 40 on Washington, like they're going to pull their guys. They're not going to risk it. They're just going to kind of settle in for their seed here. Conversely, we could see that from Dallas. If they're up big against Washington, they could sit their guys, in the second half. So you got to really find out these teams that are winning in or teams that are already eliminated that they're going to go out there and play certain guys. I mean, yesterday we saw for the Ravens, they were already locked into their seed. They sat out Lamar Jackson. They sat out some key players, but you still saw a little of Gus Edwards, a little of Justice Hill. Isaiah Likely was kind of out there. So, it's kind of still hard to sort of pick and choose where you're going to go with some lineups today. But I know that Bender's got you guys in good hands here to, navigate the waters of the storylines.
100%. And I would not put my faith in anybody but Bender to do that because somehow he has just tapped in to the most obscure plays of plays. Like last week, it was the Cedric Wilson play,
Right.
who could obviously be in play again for tonight's game. I think that there are a lot of interesting plays, especially in the Browns Cincinnati game, because neither of those teams really have anything to play for. I
Right.
think we could see a lot of younger players get some actual time just to see what they've got in those players. So we're gonna find out a little more than I think that we're expecting today.
Yeah, when it comes to DFS, for sure, we have our draft percentage forecasts are out there, and obviously Bender and I did the DFS show that you can find over at the Fantasy Star on YouTube, and we're kind of working our way through the rosterships here. And the usual suspects are up at top: CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Like Minnesota obviously needs to win, Dallas needs to win, but then you go down, you got Jordan Mason, Pierre Strong, two guys like that are popping. Noah Gray is up there in rostership. Johnny Munt is up there, for some cheap tight ends today. And you're like, right, because, the starters are out. So the value running backs are kind of taking over. The value tight ends are going to be taking over. So sort of figuring out where to go and who to trust is certainly a question that many are going to have today. And, the incentive hunt. If you were betting on incentives yesterday, on some of those players, you kind of fell short on a few of them, So, I know Coop has talked a lot about DeAndre Hopkins and what he needs for today. So, like betting on the DeAndre Hopkins receiving yards and receptions prop, I know could certainly be a popular thing for many. And then therefore, like throwing him into your lineup because maybe they'll just throw to him 20 times today to make sure he gets his, what was it, like 65 yards or whatever it is, right? So, a lot of narratives to discuss.
Yeah, he's got a ton of different incentives that he can hit. So there are multiple avenues. It just depends on which one you want to follow. The one that I'm really interested in is Austin Eckler going up against the Chiefs, who are going to sit pretty much all of their starters from what we've seen, what we've heard. I think Chris Jones will probably play for a little bit just to try to get that sack that he needs for his incentive, but then he's going to be out. I think Kelsey will play for a little bit, but Eckler only needs like 101, 110 scrimmage yards. Depends on how dyslexic I am in my memory. But against the Chiefs, you can run on them as it is. So I really think that we see a big game out of Eckler to hit those incentives. There was another incentive that I was looking at. I think that it is, well, obviously, like you mentioned, the Hopkins one.
Yeah.
I think that the Mike Evans touchdown to set that record or that career high.
Yeah.
He's already got 13. I think he could hit that one. And then Puka Nacua, I kind of feel like is a little bit of a trap because I feel like once he gets that yardage and those catches, he's just going to be gone. So I don't think we're going to see the full-on Puka game.
Yeah, I got a list here of incentives that players could be looking to go for here today. Baker Mayfield gets $2 million if the Buccaneers win because they clinch a playoff berth there. As does Geno Smith. It should Seahawks clinch a playoff berth. He gets $2 million. DeAndre Hopkins gets $1.5 million if he finishes with 7 catches for 49 yards and 2 scores. So we'll see how much they throw him the football. That's obviously the collective incentives for his catches, yards, and touchdowns that he needs to hit those bonuses. So Hopkins out there for 7 catches, Hopkins over there for 49 yards, and then Hopkins for 2 touchdowns would get him $1.5 million there. Darius Slayton just gets paid for being active today, so that's good. $750K just for being active against the Eagles, so he'll probably get that one. Josh Reynolds needs 36 yards receiving for $250,000. I could see them feeding him the football to get there. Mike Gesicki just being on the field today gets him $750,000.
And Henry's inactive, so he's got that.
He's got that one locked in. Yeah. Adam Trotman catches a touchdown today, $100K.
Oh,
maybe we see that one. Is Mayer out today? Because Austin Hooper gets $125,000 if he plays 51% of the offensive snaps this season. He's currently at 51%.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think last I saw that they were rolled out. I'm checking real quick just to see because I see these tweets all the time, and sometimes they're still listed as officially questionable. Mayer is, he's out. He is on IR, actually.
All right, so Hooper should be locked into $125K today if they play him over 51% of the snaps. Tyler Higbee needs 5 receiving yards for $125,000. Got to assume
he's already been ruled out.
Oh, well, yes, hopefully they pay that man then,
Right.
Hopefully they give him his $125K. Donta Foreman needs 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon needed 2 touchdowns. I don't think either of those are playing today. Zeke needs a lot. Zeke needs 252 total yards today for $375,000.
In a snow game, maybe it'll happen.
Maybe
it'll be like that Buffalo game where they throw 3 passes and just run the ball the rest of the time.
And he gets 252 total rushing yards today. Yeah, it's possible. You mentioned the Eckler one, 110 rushing or receiving, so total yards for him. Let's see. What do we got? Anything else? Leonard Floyd needs 1.5 sacks. I don't know if he's active for the Bills or not today. Let's see. Bud Dupree needs 1.5 sacks for the Falcons. That looks to be, you mentioned the Chris Jones one already, $1.25 million for a sack. So that's at least what we got here for the player incentive bonuses. So should be a fun day to trail and follow some of those right there.
I'm very excited to see how this plays out because playing for incentives is always fun and it can kind of tip the game script sometimes. But that being said, if you are doing betting, anything like that, don't just jump on a player just because they have incentives.
No.
I talked about this in my show on Friday. Coaches aren't going to alter their entire game script and their game planning just to get this one guy some more money. And we saw that last night with Singletary and unfortunately, Dalton Schultz.
Right. Yep. 100%. And Nelson Aguilar fell, I think it was 19 yards short of his money bonus in the first game there. We get highlighted by some of the Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady going up to Tom being like, hey man, I need 2 catches. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I got you. And, throws him the 2 passes, gets him his money, they sort of like highlight those things. So we kind of think like, oh, players know, like they'll make sure they get their stuff, but sometimes the game flow doesn't sort of always work that way. We appreciate you all in chat. I see those questions popping in. If you want to go ahead and toss a like down on today's stream, subscribe to the channel if you wish to as well. Always be with us here at Fantasy Alarm. We'll answer some of these questions that are coming in here now. Steve got the first question of the day. Half point PPR, Goff or Carr today here?
So I'm still going to go Goff. I know that people are concerned that the Lions could sit their starters if they go up big, but since they're in the early window and the Cowboys and Eagles are in the late window, I really do think that they're going to play pretty much the entirety of the game, if not the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And Goff at home, we've seen his home road splits that he really, really thrives at home. Having everybody healthy there, passing is the way that you go up on Minnesota. I think that Byron Murphy Jr. is inactive, one of their best corners. So I'm going with Goff here.
Yeah, I'm fine going that. And Koopa talked about it on the Wednesday show. Dan Campbell basically being like, listen, we can rest in the offseason. Our guys are going to go out there. They're going to play. They're going to finish the season. They're going to be ready to go. Sure. You know what? That man has shown that he's willing to risk it, as we saw last week against the Cowboys. 3 straight 2-point conversions, even when he's been moved back and then moved up and then moved back and then moved up. He never settled for overtime. He was just like, we're here to win the game. So if he wants to go out there and risk Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gibbs and Montgomery and all those guys just to play the game, then I'm going to believe that he's going to do that. He's a football player, right? Those football players want to play football. They say it all the time. Skinny out here saying, let's go crush some DFS. Britt, I don't know if you saw in our Discord, one of our subscribers last night took down the $12 single for the Saturday slate. Yep. Him in says a 5-way split, won a little over $3,000 each there. So we had a successful Saturday, week 18 playbook done by yours truly. So hopefully Bender can carry the momentum into Sunday for everybody to go kill some DFS here today. DraftKings question, single entry. 2 favorite DFS plays for today. So what are your feelings today on the DFS matchups?
For favorites, that's kind of tough because there are a lot of people in really good matchups.
Yeah.
But I do think that I am leaning Zeke a lot. I know that he kind of let us down last week, but with all of the snow in the area and the continuation of snow in the area, I think that it's just going to be a very run-heavy game. Granted, there is a low over-under and low game total in that game, but I still
30.5 was what it opened at. Let's see if it's ever dropped. Let's see. Did it go up or down today? We are at 29.5 now.
Oh.
So it is getting ugly out there, folks.
But we've seen though that snow can be better for the offenses, and Coop preaches this all the time. So I'm willing to put some money on Zeke. And then James Conner against the Seahawks. Absolutely love Conner. Seahawks average, I think, 140 yards per game on the season, 180 rushing yards per game over the last 3 weeks. And with Conner's snap share, with his targets that he gets sprinkled in there, I really like him to have a good day.
Yeah, I like a couple different running backs as well. I was all in on the Zamir White train here, going up against Denver. I think Las Vegas is going to go out there and just blow doors against Denver here. Again, they're playing for their coach. They want their coach to be the guy next year in Pierce. We know Las Vegas and going back to Oakland has a long history of like not hiring their interim coaches to be their full-time coaches, but it seems like a lot of people in the organization and the players really want Pierce to be their guy. Going out with a win today, I think would be a good way to solidify sort of that momentum for him here. And Zamir White, knowing that Jacobs isn't going to be out there, he's ran the ball well the last couple of weeks. Really great matchup against Denver here. So I'm looking at him. I love the James Conner call. He would have been someone that I would have mentioned as well. But I'm also going with Rachaad White here against the against Carolina Panthers. And believe it or not, White not gaining a lot of rostership here today, under 10%. Baker Mayfield is limited for a lot of this week with a shoulder injury. Who knows if he's at 100% there. Carolina, pretty decent pass defense at times this season. I know Mike Evans kind of lit him up in that first meeting, but Rachaad White shown very capable of handling 20-plus carries. We know he's good in the passing game today. So you're looking at the running back situation. I think we just nailed a few of them for you there. with Zamir White, James Conner, Rashad White. And then the value plays are up there. I mean, if you had to pick one to pick today, Britt, of Jordan Mason or Pierre Strong, do you have a favorite or a lean?
I think I'm going to go Pierre Strong on this just because I don't know how much Elijah Mitchell is going to be sprinkled in there. We cannot trust Shanahan and his coach speak. I
Right.
know that he says that, these guys are sitting, but if they're healthy, then they could play. I just don't really want to play that game, regardless of how San Francisco has locked up their spot. I think that Cleveland goes out there and tries to see what they have in Strong because they do have a little bit of a difficult decision to make after this season.
Right.
You've got Chubb coming back, you've got Ford, you've got Hunt, whether or not you're going to, keep him, trade him, whatever. And then you've got Strong. So I really think that they run him a lot today and see what they have in him so that they can make a decision in the offseason as to who to keep.
Yeah, I like that call. And again, you're looking at the matchups here as well. Going up against Cincinnati has been obviously a really great matchup for many running backs. And if you want to go back to Pierre Strong and his college football days, he didn't play at the top NCAA level, but he was a really good runner. He led the Division II there in rushing yards. So it's not like he's not incapable of carrying a workload and being an effective running back. We'll see him get a good workload there. So some value plays are there, but I think the top end guys are where to add. And then, I still believe in DeAndre Hopkins for the incentive bonus today. I think they're going to feed him the football. So if you want to throw a wide receiver in that mix, Hopkins for me is where I would rock it.
Yeah, it's week 18. We're all on running backs. Shocker.
Yeah, I know, right? Danny's saying good morning to us. Good morning to you. He needs advice for DFS. Have a lineup with Lamb, Moore, D-Hop. Want to see where your heads are at. Yeah, listen, if you watch the Better Sports Betting Show this week, I did take the CD Lamb over receptions here because I think he's just going to get this one early. It was at 6.5. I could see him getting 3 or 4 catches on the first drive here against Washington. They're so bad. So I'm good with all that. Moore's got a great matchup for them today. I know that the Bears are looking to play a little bit spoiler against Green Bay, who's a win in for them, and then D Hop's got the incentive play. So I'm good with those 3 there, Danny. And then there's plenty of value today at running back and at tight end and even at quarterback that sort of fit those 3 wide receivers into your lineup.
And Christian Kirk is still 3K.
3K, yeah.
Like,
we had
how chalky is he going to be?
Too.
I think the question was, is he going to be active? I think he is going to be active officially.
Mm-hmm.
But my question that I have is just how chalky is he going to be? And is it going to be worth it to put him in there to eat the chalk? Or is it a better play to pivot away from him?
Yeah, right now, because he's not officially in, we don't have an expected rostership for him. But when he, when he is in, though, he will be. He'll be super popular today for sure.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking too.
Let's see. We got where do we go? Ann saying good morning to us. Russ is saying good morning to us. Yeah, we're all here. I see Bender in the chat. Bender's got the DFS playbook out, so you can all go check out what our guy Bender's doing in there. Brian says he's got Jordan Mason, I'm assuming Joe Mixon, Zamir White, and Breece Hall. Which 3 are you starting? Is Breece a definite start today?
I think he is in that snow. I really do. I know the Patriots' run defense has been more difficult as far as actual rushing yards, but the target work that Hall is seeing is just, you can't overstate that. So I think he's a definite start. Zamir White is the number 2 for me. And then I think I actually am going Jordan Mason in this situation because I don't think we see a lot of Mixon today.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think we see much Mixon either. So I'm good going with those group there. Dan, what's up, man? Wants to know, do we do with Tajay Spears today against Jacksonville?
Sellers and I were talking when I was getting ready this morning. He goes, do I do Derrick Henry or do I pay down for Spears? And I go, I actually do like Spears today because the Jaguars have been very good against the run, but they have a weak spot and Achilles heel when it comes to receptions allowed to the running back position. And we all know that Henry doesn't really catch a lot of passes. I mean, he can, but that's just not how they utilize him. I think that this is another situation where they want to see what they have in Spears, especially with Henry being a free agent after this year. I think we see a lot of Spears and he gets a lot of passes. So I like that play.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's fine. Again, good dump down opportunities for them in that matchup. Mr. Scamp is saying good morning. Dan's got 2 of 3 for us. Zeke, Connor, Zamir White. I still lean the last two. I think it's just a safer play to go Connor and Zamir White. I get what you're saying. Obviously, the Jets' run defense is bad, and the Patriots are going to have to run a lot given the weather situation. But the 29.5 game total is so worrisome for me.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the difference between DFS and season long. DFS, you can kind of take those chances, which is why I was leaning Zeke, figuring he would be a little contrarian. But in season long, I'm going to roll with the last two as well.
Yep, I'm with you there 100%. Let's see. What do we got next? Moving our way down. Cindy saying Happy New Year. Top 2 pay down defenses for today. Benner and I talked about this, where we wanted to go with our defenses this week. I did find that you could probably spend down a little bit at your defensive positions, based off sort of what we think teams are going to be putting out there for starters and not starters. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are playing the Dallas Cowboys today. They're the most expensive defense out there. But the Bengals are getting a lot of love at $3,000 going up against Cleveland, because Cleveland is benching a lot of their guys here this week. So what are your thoughts on spend down defenses here?
That's what I was going to say was the Bengals for my first one. And then it's kind of hard over here, but I actually might look at the Rams at 2,600 against San Francisco. I know that they haven't gotten a lot of takeaways, touchdowns, things like that, but going up against the backups in the San Francisco offense, I think that they've got a decent chance to actually keep that close and to return a little bit of value if some of those backup players make some mistakes.
Sure, I like that one. And then the other one I was mentioning as a potential, I guess it's more of a mid here than a full spend down, but I like the Raiders defense today. Again, at home, the last 2 games they were on the road against Kansas City and Indy. They had a big day against Kansas City. Didn't get much done against the Colts. I think we were all kind of expecting a better performance out of them there. But at home this year, they're averaging almost 11 fantasy points per game versus just 6.5 fantasy points per game on the road. So get them at home, close out the season, playing for the coach, gets the Broncos. I think the Raiders are in a really good spot today for defense.
Yep, I can dig that as well.
Brian wants to know Jets or Tampa Bay for an ESPN league. So we got a little seasonal question for us here.
I think we're going to go with the Jets D today. We've mentioned that low game total. The snow, they haven't looked that great. If Bailey Zappi performs like he did last week, or even half as bad as he did last week, then there's a lot of value there for the Jets D.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think the Jets, again, they're going to keep the ball on the ground, but if the Patriots do have to throw, Zappi had 3 interceptions last week or something like that. So will be a little bit tougher. You got Tampa Bay against Carolina. I mean, obviously you can go there. Jacksonville had a lot of success against Carolina last week. That offense doesn't do too much. So if you want to play the weather narrative, you can go the Jets. If you just want to play the opponent, you could probably go Tampa Bay there. Diggs, Henry, or Ridley for PPR play today?
So I'm going to go with Ridley, even knowing that Lawrence is a game time decision, because I think that Jalen Ramsey is going to shadow Diggs. Diggs has not had more than 5 receptions in weeks. It's just been pretty bad. And I think that this actually turns into more of a Gabe Davis, James Cook game. And I know that Gabe Davis is boom or bust, but that's just kind of where I'm leaning with Ramsey being on Diggs and Xavier Howard being out. With Henry, again, Jacksonville's run defense is really, really good. And he hasn't been the best either. With Ridley, Tennessee tends to play a lot of zone, and that is where Ridley thrives. He does really well in zone coverage. So I think that this is more of a Ridley game than it is a Kirk game, especially with Kirk just coming back from that core muscle injury.
Okay. Yeah, I could certainly see that one going on there for sure. We have a Bender in chat. Do we push this back to ours? We did. We gave Coop the day off. We figured, Coop did the Sirius XM show. Britt and I will close out week 18 for everybody. And Bender's saying we're all Jaguars and Dolphins fans today. So we do have the better cast. As you can see, Sunday Night Football matchup between the Bills and the Dolphins. You can scan that QR code. You can hang out with us in the Bettercast app tonight, week 18 contest. Get those tickets, redeem them for some cool gear. But you got to be in the app to play. Completely free to download, completely free to play and sign up. Just got to scan the QR code that's there on the screen. download the app, get in there, answer the pregame questions that are already available for everybody, and then hang with us in there and go ahead and participate in the Better Cast contest this evening. Danny says, when I have Lamb, Moore, and D-Hop, had to go to Kirk in the flex. Yeah, that's fine. Got to save some money. No problem there. Who's our favorite discount quarterback from Sellers for DFS? Smith, Carr, Mullins, or Taylor? I went with Mullins today. I understand that, the Lions are supposed to be playing their entire defense, but, is that really going to be the case? Are they going to play the full game? If they don't, then you could get some softer matchups for them in the second half of that game. Plus pure volume. I think Mullins just going to throw the ball a ton, for better or for worse. I don't see them going back to Jaron Hall. I don't know if they would activate Dobbs, say, to be the backup quarterback. This is a win and help situation for, I think, Minnesota. They absolutely need to win and then get some things to break right for them. But I think Mullins is going to give them that best chance. When he faced the Lions a few weeks ago, he had some big numbers there. Yes, the 4 interceptions, but that last interception was the final play of the game. So, kind of discount that one a little bit. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a ton of passing yards. More than enough for DFS. So, and Jefferson's a top projected wide receiver today for ownership. So go Mullins and pair up with J. Jeff, and you'll be pretty good there for me.
Yeah.
And Detroit Bears, Chargers defense. What we got?
So I think, oh man, this is tough. I think I'm still going to go with the Bears.
Yep.
The Chargers, even with the backups, I can't trust them for what I've seen. If they played that bad with their starters, they're still going to look bad. The Bears have looked pretty good. I know that Jordan Love is on a hot streak, but I still believe that they can kind of stop Aaron Jones, get some potentially a turnover or 2, and just gain some points that way.
Sure. Yeah, no problem for me there. I think that one's fine. Full PPR, Zamir White, Etienne, or Breece Hall?
I'm going to go with Breece Hall here, but it's really close between Hall and White for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine going there. Again, the weather for me is a bit of a worry, but I think either White or Hall are definitely the top 2 for me in that spot. Excuse me, Jaden Reed or Calvin Ridley here, if you had to pick one.
If Reed is healthy, then I'm going to go Reed. But he just hasn't been healthy over the past few weeks, and I'm really worried about his chest injury getting re-aggravated and then him leaving the game. So I think I'm going to go Ridley for safety.
Yep, Ridley's fine for me. Good floor play. He said he could also pick up Zeke or Herbert to play a running back if you had to pick one, including in that group there. Herbert's had some pretty good games of late. I think he's questionable to play today.
Yeah, he was dealing with a personal issue as well as an injury. So a little 2 for there. I think I would still go with either White or Hall.
Okay. Good luck to you there in your Week 18 championship. We got Chase or Godwin here for Alejandra.
I'm going to go Godwin. I don't think we get a lot of effort out of Chase today.
Okay.
Not effort, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Who do we like in the flex for FanDuel? Wicks, Dortch, or Gabe Davis?
Oh man, Dortch the Torch has really been tempting, but I'm gonna go with my gut, and I still think that it's gonna be Gabe Davis. No Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey on Diggs. I think this is a Gabe Davis week.
That one works. That works for me. No doubt about it. Let's go ahead and Sellers likes the Raiders. I agree. I don't like that the only people who have Miami Buffalo is FanDuel. Yeah, that is a little weird, right? They just we'll see. We'll see what happens there. They might have they probably have the showdown game on DraftKings for that, right?
I haven't even looked.
That'd be surprising if they don't have the showdown.
That means something's up. And that makes me nervous because we all know how much I have riding on this game in regards to my pride.
Nah, they got it. They got it over on FanDuel. You just have to scroll a while. They do have it, but it's all the way down the list. But they got it tonight, so you can go find it on DraftKings there, Danny. Favorite brunch beverage, Mr. Scampers wants to know.
So I do like mimosas, but a good Bloody Mary, if it's made right, always just hits way harder. I'm just very picky about my Bloody Marys because you can mess it up. It has to be a lot of spices, a lot of Worcestershire, some horseradish, some celery salt. You can't just throw tomato juice in a glass and call it Bloody Mary. So it's got to be made right. But when it is, man, that be hitting, and you get a snack.
Yeah, I'm just a coffee drinker, so I guess I'll roll. I'll be boring and just say coffee for brunch. That's fine for me. Brian wants to know McLaurin, D Hop, Addison, or JSN 2 out of the 4 for a half PPR.
So D Hop is a lock for me.
Yeah.
And then I've really liked JSN, but there's something about this game and Addison and what Detroit has given up recently that makes me want to lean Addison with Mullins starting.
Okay, I can get behind that. Just a lot of throwing can be done in that game. No Hawkinson, so I'm kind of with you on that one. Daryl, DK Cash, Dortch, Everett, or Kirk and Myers.
Oh, so it depends on how contrarian you want to get. If I think eating the chalk with Kirk and Myers is actually going to be pretty okay.
He's already playing White and Hooper. So you're playing Hooper and cash games today? That's scary. You're gonna pair them up with one of those double, so you'd be double tight ending, I guess. I don't really like Hooper and DFS today personally.
Yeah, I don't think that I do either, but I don't know. I just like Myers. I like Myers better than Everett.
Yeah, I'm fine going Kirk and Myers. That's fine. We got to get a full snap count though going on for Kirk, or at least get an idea of what a snap count is going to be for Kirk. There, I did take the over receptions prop on Dortch because it's at 3.5 today. So, I think he goes over that one. Caden wants to know Olave or Zamir White flex for PPR.
Oh, I know Olave laid a big egg last week, but this is a must-win situation for the Saints, and Juwan Johnson is out, which he was the guy who took over everything last week. So I think that I'm going to lean Olave here.
Okay. What do you think happens now with that tight end situation for the Saints with Juwan Johnson out?
I swear if it's a Taysom Hill day, I'm just going to cringe. It
probably
is going to be a Taysom Hill day.
Taysom Hill numbers this year without Juwan Johnson, he was pretty good as their tight end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another Taysom Hill day, much to the chagrin of everybody. And then Sellers pops in the chat. We like Taysom Hill with all the exclamation marks. We know that you like Taysom Hill, Sellers.
Yeah, I just updated the roster sheet for everybody. It goes over to Fantasy Alarm if you want to check that out. So you can get the latest updates there for all of you building your DFS lineups here today. Rage Against the Vagine, that's funny. Does Puka break both rookie records today?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does fairly quickly, especially with Cooper Kupp out. They're going to put him out there. They're going to pepper him heavily. Once he hits that record, then he's out. But I think he does it earlier than later.
And Don's with you on the Bloody Marys. It is a showdown on DK. Yeah, are you talking about having them like in their main slate? Danny, I didn't check FanDuel. If FanDuel's got it in the main slate, I guess that'd be something.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
North Carolina's going full sports betting tomorrow.
Oh.
Are they? I heard that they weren't going to get it go live before the Super Bowl. Are they going live tomorrow?
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. That'd be a quick turnaround for them. Are you following you're probably following the NCAA, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have Washington winning by 3 points. I know that they're currently a 4.5 point underdog, but just the way that their receiving core is, there's not really anybody that you can double team, that you can take out of that game. That receiving core is so good. Michael Penix is very good under pressure, and he hasn't even been pressured a lot. But on the flip side, Minnesota ranks second in quarterback pressure. So it's going to be the battle in the trenches to see who can actually hold up against one another. But I think just based on the talent and what I've seen out of Penix, that Washington's going to pull this out. But it's going to be a really good game, really close.
We like Taysom talk for Skinny. Sellers is all in on the Carr Hill stack. Toronto Dave's in here. Yeah, listen, I think Jamal Williams is interesting. He got a big workload last week. With Kamara, hobbled. So I'm fine going Jamal Williams this week. Kirk officially inactive, by the way, according to Sellers. So there you go.
Yeah, interesting.
There's your min price 3K guy out of lineups today.
Such a bummer. Everybody was in on him and thinking now everybody has to go scramble and change their stacks.
That's $3,000 you're taking out of your lineup there. So
right. Oh, Taylor Heineke is inactive.
okay.
Desmond Ritter is going to get the start. Trevor Lawrence is going to play. Zach Wilson's time with the Jets is expected to be over.
Mm-hmm.
So that came in.
I thought that they were expected to look for a trade partner this offseason.
Yeah, interesting. All right, so Puka is in. We're getting all kinds of stuff here. Yes, love it. So as far as Jamal Williams, I think that he's fine, but Kendre Miller is also active today. So I think that eats into his workload a little bit more than we're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And Williams just hasn't been the same guy that he was last season in New Orleans. And I think in this game that they're just going to have to throw a little bit more than we're used to seeing.
Darryl needs 1 to fill a 10-point teaser. So he's taking Green Bay plus 7.5 or Tampa Bay plus 6. I would lean Tampa Bay plus 6 over Green Bay plus 7.5 if I had to pick one.
Yep, I would too. I feel like the Bears can come play spoiler today.
Yeah, right. I think they have a better chance of doing it than Carolina upsetting Tampa Bay. So, Ridley or Adams here?
Oh man, this is tough after what Devontae did last week, but I think I'm going to go Ridley. I think White has such a good matchup against that Broncos. Run defense.
I'm good. I'm good going there, especially now that Kirk's out. I mean, there's gonna be a whole lot of more targets going the Ridley way here. Danny, that's good news. Gotta go let James Grande know. We were talking about it. They didn't say they were gonna have betting open until after the Super Bowl. So having it out now would be surprising.
Nice.
Ann hates watching because they beat the Longhorns.
That game was so close and so good, though. You can't be mad about that game because that game was crazy good.
This is Danny's saying colors. Angela saying yo. He says he's taking a shot on Juwan Johnson. He's playing. We don't think he's in today though. So
yeah, I think he's pretty much going to be out.
Yep. We are getting inactives though, so we will know whether or not he is in or out today. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the Saints inactive list here for everybody. Let's see. Do we got a list of Saints inactives?
Oh,
wow. We got.
This isn't anything crazy, but Mac Jones is inactive as the emergency third quarterback.
Okay.
Ooh.
Who's the backup quarterback today?
They elevated some guy.
Okay.
I've never heard of.
I mean, Mac Jones' days in New England are probably over as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Dude love half PPR, high score money week in week 18. 2 running backs: Cook, Zamir, Eckler, Achane for running backs. Need 2 of that group.
I actually like Zamir and Eckler today.
Okay.
Cook is there, but
is Mostert playing today?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard. I think that the last I heard though was that he wasn't expected to play.
Yeah, Waddle and Mostert not expected to play today. So you'd have Achane by himself?
Yeah. I'm worried about his injury as well.
Okay.
Because that it was a toe and then it was also something else that popped up too.
Sure. I got a list here of notable inactives. Heineke, as you mentioned, Kirk, Kamara. Higgins is out today for Cincinnati as we expected. Levis and Mari Cooper as we figured. Waddle, Mostert not expected to play. And then we have Juwan Johnson is in. So,
interesting.
So it could go Juwan Johnson there. Kelsey, Herbert, Kmet, Juwan Johnson, Leonard Fournette are expected to play today. So
wild that they elevated Fournette, and that's why I'm a little bit out on Cook too. I don't know how much Fournette we see, but they have been saving him up, and the fresh legs narrative situation.
Yep. Angela, so yeah, if he's in, I'm good. That's fine. They'll throw to him. I'm in for the Juwan Johnson play there. And then he needed 1 wide receiver from Brown, Addison, or Jane Reed.
Man, you've got to go AJ Brown today with Devonta Smith out. They did that team building exercise where they went to the escape room, blah, 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 blah. I think if this is a get right game for AJ Brown, or if there ever was one, that this is it.
Yep. Dude love here. Detroit, Denver, Tampa Bay, or Las Vegas defense. Again, I like Las Vegas defense here today.
Yep. I think I can go with that too. Although Tampa Bay is enticing, the
Yeah.
the Raiders defense at home.
Does Njoku get significant amount of playing time today?
I
can't
don't think he
imagine
does.
he would.
No, I don't think that he does. He was also injured going into this week, so why push it? Why
Yeah.
even put him on the field? So I don't know if he touches the field at all, to be honest.
Yeah, Skinny saying last he heard March 17th would be earliest launch date. That's what I heard. I heard around March Madness as well, but I mean, these operators honestly just have the ability to turn it on whenever they want. It's just, we'll see, I guess, if they I never understand, why these states would miss out on all the revenue. Like it's, there's so much back and forth and red tape that they always need to get approved for. If they had this launched by the Super Bowl, they would make so much money in tax income. Massachusetts was like that. We got to be before the Super Bowl, thankfully, but like, they were just so dragging their feet. We didn't get mobile sports betting until March Madness. We had in-person betting for the Super Bowl. It was like super annoying. They just had to like flip a switch. Let us open on DraftKings app. We already have it all. Just let us do it.
Yep.
And it took them a while, so we'll see. Don't like Pittsburgh more than I like Buffalo. Got to knock them where we heard, Danny. Yeah, listen, I hope Miami wins. I'm fine with that.
Yep. Y'all know that I'm rooting for Miami because I have a lot of my reputation on the stake with that.
Yeah. Scamber saying probably never getting sports betting in Cali. I would say never, but obviously California has been close a few times, and they keep on getting it turned down, with their tribes and all the stuff that goes on there. And then Skinny saying they live in the Bible Belt where things aren't easy. So.
I feel that. We're lucky that we even got sports betting, but the way that the legislation was written, we don't have DraftKings, we don't have FanDuel, we don't have any of the big MGM, Caesars, any of that. So we have one homegrown site that we can wager on, and that's it. So I can't get in on any of the fun.
Yeah, Rhode Island was like that initially when they first launched. They could only do sports betting through Twin River Casino. They had their own sports books. They had their own app. So you basically had to go there, register your app, and then once you register the app with them, as long as you were within like the Rhode Island state, whatever, you could use their app. So there's a lot of people. The first rest stop between the Massachusetts Rhode Island border was very popular on the weekends. People popping over there to make their. And it was the same way with New Hampshire. New Hampshire allowed DraftKings sportsbooks. So what I was doing was the same thing. I would have to drive up to New Hampshire. As soon as we cross over the border, like pull over, I'm like, all right, I'm going to have my phone like searching for, a verification of where I am. As soon as it says I'm okay, then I could make bets on DraftKings sportsbook there. So glad I saved myself 45 minutes now, one way, an hour and a half by round trip just to make some bets. So.
Oh, we did that with Oklahoma. We can't bet college here, so we just drive over to Oklahoma and pull over and then just turn around and come back. Yep. Exactly. Absolutely.
Angelo, there's, I believe Georgia is working on a betting bill as well. So it doesn't make any sense why these states wouldn't allow it. I mean, they see all the revenue that all these other states are getting from their taxes. Like, why would you be withholding this? Especially when you know that, and this is the biggest argument in Massachusetts, like we were, the community was basically either going out of state, so they were going to Rhode Island or they were going to New Hampshire, or they were betting on like offshore books, like Bovada and things like that, where they're considered unsecure, not necessarily regulated, and it just put like the Commonwealth of Massachusetts more at risk. All the states are the same thing. They're going to go to a state where they allow sports betting, or they're going to do it some illegal way. You're not preventing people from betting, so why not at least benefit and take the tax money out of it? So, we'll see what happens. Scamper saying got voted down bad. Yeah, but they'll keep going at it. Eventually, they'll figure it out. Clayton wants a cheap running back for today. We gave a few. Two of the top rostered in terms of ownership today are Pierre Strong and Jordan Mason. So they're under $4,000, I believe, or under $5,000. Pierce Strong, I think it's $4K, so he's like a mid-price starter for today. So I know a lot of people are going to be going in that direction with their lineup builds today, Clayton. And then Fields or Kyler today, if you had to pick one here, Britt.
I think I'm going to go with Fields. I just like his rushing ability a little bit more than Kyler. And they're going to play spoiler. They really are going to play spoiler.
Yeah, I'm with it. Again, I think Fields has a little bit of his own personal motivation here today, knowing that the Bears hold the number one overall pick and they could be eyeing a quarterback. He could go out there for one of two reasons: either play well enough to say like, "Hey, don't pick a quarterback, keep me, trade back. How about you go get me Marvin Harrison Jr. or go get me an offensive lineman, whoever the top offensive lineman is going to be in that draft." Um, or he plays for a team that's going to trade for him because the Bears are going to have to trade him this offseason. I saw there was a report that they could get a second or third round pick for Fields. I'm sure the Bears would like him to play the best of his ability to get that second rounder over a third rounder, but obviously Fields wants to be able to play well enough to show a team that if you're trading for me, it's to be your starter and not like competing for the job. So I think there's a lot of motivation here for Fields, and Murray probably has some similar motivation, right? Like, this isn't the coach that drafted him. This is the coach that we're considering maybe not even playing him at points this season. He was in trade rumors, so he needs to go out there and prove that he's worthy of being either the Cardinals starting quarterback for next year or a team to come get him and let them be their starting quarterback.
Yep, 100%. I think a report just came out, though, with the inactives that the Cardinals are planning on going forward with Murray as their starter for next season. So
good. I mean, yeah, good to know for him. I guess maybe a little bit more job security. He's played well enough since he's come back, and you look at really who they've given him. Hollywood Brown's been hurt for a lot of the season, and thankfully Trey McBride has popped for them this year. It'll be interesting to see just how early Trey McBride goes in redraft next year. I was talking to Coop about that. If he would be a top 3 tight end consideration, like you have Kelsey, but after that, Laporta, Andrews, Kittle, McBride, like there's a group there that I think is sort of in that conversation for who the tight end 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be in fantasy drafts. Hawkinson obviously still, sort of in that mix of conversation. So, tight end position next year is going to be pretty strong, I think. Where you in the past we've sort of waited to find, the Laportas late in drafts or not, or Kincaid later in draft. Those guys are going to be going early this year. So,
and we get Brock Bowers thrown into the mix.
We do get Brock Bowers thrown into the mix. We'll be curious to see. There's Angela. Brock Bowers is coming. We'll see exactly where he goes. If the success of the rookie tight end class this year pushes someone like Bowers up earlier in drafts, because where he was, Kyle Pitts, was he like a 4th round pick as a rookie, something like that? Wasn't he going relatively early last year?
I think 2 years ago he was. I think, yeah, he was down a little bit last year, but still kind of in that same range. But yeah,
I feel like as a rookie, there was a lot of hype surrounding him when he was going sort of in those middle rounds. So we could see Bowers, who, by all accounts is the best tight end prospect to come out of the draft, right? In some time here. So we'll see where he pops through. Do love to know McBride or Ferguson today, FPPR.
I'm going to go McBride. I'm still going to go McBride. I think that it's going to be the CeeDee Lamb show, and then everybody kind of sits in Dallas.
Yep, I agree with you. I think McBride's a good call. Again, feed him targets in that matchup against Seattle. It's a good matchup. Again, Seattle's defense is kind of tanked down a little bit. And Arizona at home has been playing some better ball of late with Kyler Murray at the quarterback position. And, the fact that, Michael Wilson and Greg Dortcher, your wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 today for Arizona, leads me to think that McBride should be in for a pretty decent target share. Britt, you got any bets for us here today? Anything that you like?
So I've been looking at Rachaad White's receiving yardage prop. I believe it's sitting at 21.5. And I know that you can run on Carolina, so I'm expecting him to get plenty of rushing work. But with Baker Mayfield banged up in those ribs, I'm kind of wondering if he's going to check the ball down a little bit more than heave it downfield.
Okay.
And White has been so good with those snaps and with those receptions that I really think that he gets quite a bit more than 21.5 receiving yards today.
I'm with you. I've been taking the receptions prop on Rachaad White now for a little bit because it's always so low and he generally goes over that. So I'm on board for his receiving yards. I actually took on the Better Sports Betting Show his over rushing yards as well at 70.5. So I think it's just going to be a big Rachaad White day. You beat Carolina by running the ball. I think you're going to see Tampa Bay get a lead in this one and then know that they're a win and in and not want to risk Baker turning the football over or risking his shoulder any more than they have to. If it's not at 100%, they're just going to feed Rachaad White, who credit to Rachaad White. I know it was more fantasy analyst driven, but from basically the beginning of the season, for the majority of the year, people were saying he was going to lose his job, and it never came. He had like the highest percentage snap share of like any starting running back all season. Like he was just the guy week in, week out in all facets of the game there. So, Sean Tucker never came in and took any role away from Rachaad White this year. So I like Rachaad White over 70.5 rushing yards. I also like James Conner today over 70.5 rushing yards. We were high on him for DFS. I think, again, 2 games of over 100 yards in the last 3 for him. They should feed him the ball often. I think in this one against the Seattle Seahawks, I took the CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions because, again, I think he gets that before halftime. I think the first couple of drives Dallas has just going to feed CeeDee Lamb the football. And I took Dortch over 3.5 receptions as well. That one was plus money. It was plus 114 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. So, I think
Nice.
Dortch today getting fed the football. Snap count's been on the rise the last 2 weeks. Obviously, no Hollywood Brown. And him and Kyler Murray have a little bit of a connection going on there.
Yep. I'm down with all of those. I think that you're going to be in for a good day, John.
Hopefully. And then I took CeeDee Lamb first touchdown today for plus 425. So we're just gonna ride the CeeDee Lamb train today. I know you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, so you gotta be loving that.
The anytime touchdown was on my Friday show for Lamb as well. So why not just juice it up a little bit?
That's what I said. The anytime touchdown was like minus 130 or something like that. I was like, you know what? Let's just go 4-1. I'm sure he scores first in this game here with the way that matchup is against the Commanders. So I wanted a little bit of the boost. So you can check out the full Better Sports Betting Show over on Fantasy Alarm. It's there now. Me and Dan Silverdidio broke it all down on Friday for you. You can go check out Servo's bets for this week here as well. He's got a Boston Scott anytime touchdown. He's running the Scott versus the Giants narrative here this week.
He is known as the Giant Killer, right. So we'll see.
Figured if the Eagles are going to be sitting their guys in the second half of this game, possibly Boston Scott could be someone that gets more work than he's gotten throughout the year here. So kind of going in that direction. Angelo popping in, just reminding everybody that Kirk is inactive. Kirk inactive here today. We thought there was a chance because they activated his window and he's getting some limited practices in. But now that he's out, you can probably go back to Evan Ingram and then kind of figure out your wide receiver 2 situation if you want to trust Parker Washington or Jamal Agnew or something like that. But more often than likely than not, you're going to get double-digit targets going Calvin Ridley's way today in this matchup.
Yep, I agree too. Such a bummer. After all of that hyping up all week long just to be let down on Sunday morning.
He was like 40% rostered was what we were showing. So we'll have to get another update out there for everybody, hopefully coming shortly before lineup lock to get you an idea of where now people are going here for this week. Any final thoughts here, Britt, for the people tuning in at home?
Oh, I just hope that all of you sickos out there playing for your championship in week 18, crush it, and then talk to your commissioner and tell them, let's change that for next season. Because playing in week 18 is just it's so hit or miss. And I've personally been burned playing week 18 before, but good luck in everybody's matchups. Enjoy this final week of regular season football because it goes way too fast.
It does. Obviously, Fantasy Time will continue with their DFS coverage. We have the playoff contest going on right now as well. We also have our FFPC contest going on, so you can have an opportunity to win a free entry to the FFPC playoff challenge. Myself, Howard Bender, Britt, and Andrew Cooper will be doing a show on Tuesday doing an FFPC draft, and we're going to be giving away an entry as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like today's show, get notified when we go live so you don't miss your opportunity to get into the FFPC playoff challenge. Last year, Britt, I forgot I entered the FFPC playoff challenge. The week of the Super Bowl, I remembered, I checked, I was tied for second place.
No.
Okay, I went into the championship games. There was a solo first place guy who had some like alternating outs. If the things broke correctly, I would have had a chance for an outright win in the FFPC playoff challenge. Instead, I ended up splitting second place with like 35 people, but completely forgot I was even in it until like all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, like I have an entry into this. Like, let me go check to see how my team was doing. And sure enough, there I am sitting there. I had Jalen Hurts and Travis Kelce as the two guys I had going into the Super Bowl. So really couldn't have done worse than the two guys I had going on there. But the person in first place also had Jalen Hurts, so my out was covered there with the quarterback. I couldn't leap him, but it was a nice little payday for me, surprisingly out of nowhere. It's good to find money that way. So you guys got to get in the playoff challenges. They're super cool. Check them out over at Fantasy. Coop's got the articles already written, so make sure you get involved in that action here. Danny Fans wants to know if Slayton is a good replacement here for Kirk. I do. I think Slayton's a good replacement today. Back-to-back big weeks of Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Happy to go Slayton this week as a replacement value play in your DFS lineup. So check it all out. Get in our Discord if you haven't done so already. We'll be in there. Dan Manlin and Kev Tompkins answering your questions to lineup block. We appreciate you all tuning in every Sunday with us here at Fantasy Farm. And don't be a stranger. Find us on Twitter. Get us in the Discord. Become a member of the family. Good luck in Week 18. Good luck throughout the playoffs, everybody. We'll catch you later.